Hello everyone! Today we're in Malta, an island state in the middle of the Mediterranean, and we're hiking on a trail in the northern part of the biggest island. If you're enjoying these videos in the series where we are exploring Malta, subscribe to the channel by pressing the subscribe button underneath this video. Today's hike starts near the ferry that connects the big island of Malta and the smaller island of Gozo. We're walking along the coast until we reach Mellieħa Bay, where there is an ornithological reserve. Near our route today is a small and quite secluded beach called Pretty Bay, but we're not going swimming today. We're going to explore this part of the island. In this area, although we don't really see trees, from place to place we see shrubs and smaller plants. And this is because Malta is made out of rock, and this does not allow in some places the formation of a thick layer of soil, in which plants larger than shrubs can grow deep roots. And many times the soil that naturally forms gets blown away by the wind. We pass through an area where there are a few farms. Farming here is done on smaller plots, some of which on the continent could be seen as very large gardens in some cases. The houses and fences are made out of limestone, which is very easy to find here and is the most commonly used building material on the island. In front of us lies the second largest island, Gozo, which is also inhabited. There are a few smaller islands, but they are either only temporarily inhabited or uninhabited. Malta is in the middle of the Mediterranean Sea, a calm and very beautiful sea, perfect for swimming and snorkeling, and for those who are brave, it is an excellent place to try scuba diving. Malta has a large number of schools that offer scuba diving lessons or courses for all levels of experience. The large number of schools is due to the numerous wrecks in the area, but also due to the underwater flora and fauna. On the trail, we pass by an interesting cave where we go down through the boulders to explore it for a few moments. Here, those that are passionate about rock climbing use the cave wall as a training area, since it is quite high. Because Malta's substrate is made out of limestone, a soft rock, a lot of caves and grottos have formed. Here it's full of cacti that produce fruit called prickly pears. They're very good and sweet and are very popular on the island. So if you're in Malta in August and September, you can taste them because they are for sale at the farmers' stands and in stores. But I don't recommend you picking them from a cactus and trying to peel them with your bare hands. All you need to know is in that name, prickly pears. We go down to explore a seemingly abandoned area where there are some boat garages. The descent is not very difficult. There are steps carved in the stone. But you have to be very careful, especially when the ground is wet. The view from here is spectacular, a place where you can sit and relax, forget about the world, and lose track of time. In the area from which we came down, in the summer you can see people who come with tents and stay for quite a while in nature. Here we see one of the natural arches that were formed by erosion, and nearby we found quartz or calcite crystals embedded in the stone. we're leaving this wonderful place behind. And we'll walk until we come to a paved road that leads to a radar station. And on the opposite side, it leads to the Red Tower, one of the many fortified towers that were used once to defend Malta. We stop for a few moments at this viewpoint where we can admire the Mediterranean and the narrowest part of the island. After admiring the view, we decided to go down, and we pass by some small farms. Malta is a place full of history and natural beauty, and it's worth visiting not only in summer to go to the beach, but also in winter, which is here more like the late spring, when the island is green and full of flowers, and the temperatures are ideal for walking and hiking on the trails with breathtaking views. Here we can also see some trees which are actually a small fig orchard. And the walk continues through an area of gardens or small farms. And then on the edge of a small forest, which is a natural reserve, made up of trees which are not very tall, but they are very resistant to drought, as there is not much rainfall here for most of the year. Only for a few months a year, in the colder period, there is more frequent rainfall. We arrived at the Ornithological Reserve in Mellieha Bay, which has two specifically created places from where we can watch or take photos of migrating birds. Unfortunately, when we visited this place, it was the beginning of December, and there were not many birds that we could have filmed. The caretaker of the reserve that day told us that the next we could come to see the birds is between the months of March and April, when they migrate from Africa to Europe, Malta being a stopover point for the birds on their annual migration. There is also a small park in the reserve where we were told we could see rabbits, lizards, and chameleons, and different bugs. But we didn't see much of that, though the walk in the park was enjoyable. And thus ends today's story. If you've enjoyed today's hike through the north of Malta and want to be notified when we release the next video, subscribe to the channel and click the little bell icon. Share this video with others and leave us a like so we know you've enjoyed it. And we will see you soon on another hike through the trails in the north of Malta.